Today we're going to be looking at all of the new user interface changes in Field ID in the coming release. On the screen what you'll see is on the left hand side is the current version of Field ID. On the right hand side you will see the new version, which is going to be released December 5th, 2010. So in this video we're going to go over what the old one looks like and what the new one looks like, and just where you can find some of the information. So what we've tried to do is lay out each screen with information grouped together. So in the last 8 months we've really added a lot of features to Field ID, but we haven't really went back and grouped information together. So that's what we've really tried to do in this release. So to start, we are on the dashboard screen when you first log in. So what you're going to see is all of the same information is there. We've just laid it out a little bit differently. The go-to has actually been renamed You Might Want To, and we have all of the same links there. If you have jobs, you still have the jobs that are open and assigned to you. Instructional videos has been renamed Learning Center, and here you'll find links for everything that's going to be able to help you get up and running on Field ID. This section here, which was previously used for release notes and announcements, has actually been renamed Messages and Announcements, and you will find everything from new blog posts to news, maintenance schedules, and when webinars are booked for the upcoming release. So you can nicely see here that there's actually a 2010 webinar booked for November 30th at 9 a.m. and a link to sign up. So it's a little bit more enhanced of what's upcoming in Field ID. Now we'll move on to the Identify screen. The biggest thing you're going to see in the Identify screen is the asset type has been moved to the top. So previously you started with the serial number, and now you'll start with the asset type. We've also grouped all of the information together. So you'll notice on the current Identify screen, we have purchase order and order number separated by the identified date. So what we've done is we've actually gone ahead and we've grouped all of this information together. So you can now see order details, which has the purchase order and order number nicely grouped together. So the result is just a nicer screen laid out. Everything's grouped together in their kind of logical sections. So first you'll start by selecting the asset type. You'll enter all the identifiers and scroll down, and we have all of the asset details at the bottom, just like we did before. All the exact same information, just laid out a little bit differently. Moving on to the asset search. This is one of the screens that we've actually went and looked at, and we said, okay, there's a lot of information, there's a lot of data entry here, but it's not really grouped together. So as you can see, the resulting screen, we've now grouped everything together with those nice new gray headings that we're using everywhere. So we start with the identifiers, we have the asset details, ownership, order details, and the date identified. You can still select your display columns like you can today. Everything is exactly the same. We've just grouped everything together. Moving on to reporting, you're going to see a very similar design. So once again, the reporting you can see right now is just a lot of information. We have everything kind of not really grouped together. We have the save reports kind of hanging over here on the right hand side. So what we've done is, once again, grouped everything together. We've actually created a save reports tab. So the nice thing now is clicking on this, you can see all your saved reports, and you can run and share them right from here. So a lot of you know to share a saved report, currently you have to go under My Account, and then you have to go into saved reports. Well, now all of that lives right under the reporting screen in the new version. So we have run a report and saved reports side by side. So it really makes it easier. All of your reporting now exists in one screen. Moving on to the schedules. Once again, grouped all the information together. We have schedule details, so all that information about schedules, the scheduled date, identifiers, ownership, asset details, and order details. So once again, we have a lot of information over here, really not laid out in any specific way, so we really grouped it together. It's going to make it easier to really find those filters that you're looking to apply to your results. The last change, big one, is the setup screen. So this is probably one of the bigger ones. So right now on the setup screen we have everything that's kind of laid out just in a linear fashion. This works all right, but the problem is it doesn't grow very well. As we add more things to the setup, we want to be able to add more customization of Field ID. The screen just kept getting longer and longer, and people were kind of having a hard time figuring out where stuff was. When we referenced to find the asset type, well, where is that? So what we've done is, you can see in the new version, we've actually create our tab layout, which is consistent with the rest of the site, so everybody's used to these tabs, and we've really broken it down. The first tab is settings, so this is where you have things about your organization, system settings, branding if you've purchased that with Field ID, and your current Field ID plan. So that's basically a lot of this kind of first section here. Second tab is owners, users, and locations. So setting up new customers or job sites, managing your users, accepting or denying user registrations, and setting up your predefined location hierarchy if you have that enabled in your Field ID account. Moving over here, we have assets and events. So this is everything nicely grouped together. Everything you're ever going to want to configure about all of your events and assets are all contained under this tab. Going forward, if there's a new customization that's rolled out for assets and events, you know you're going to be able to find it underneath this tab. So it groups everything really nicely together. As you'll also notice in all of these tabs, we've kind of just created some type of icon, some visual identifier to go along with each action here. We now have a new import tab. So this actually doesn't exist on the current setup screen, but this is kind of the jumping point for doing an import in Field ID. So you can import your owners, assets, events, and auto attributes. So just a nice summary screen of how to kick off your import jobs. We have the template screen, which is the auto attribute wizard and manage comment template. So this is very similar to your autocomplete templates here in the current setup tab. So it just has its own tab here. We have a widgets tab, which has your sign-in URL and your embedded sign-in code. So this is going to allow you to place this right into your existing corporate website if you'd like. So it just makes it a little bit easier to find in the setup. And the last one here is the data log, which is the last one here in the list. So we've really just broken down into tabs. When you come into the setup now, you can quickly identify the part of the system that you want to change, click on that tab, and then be presented with everything that's customizable for that specific section. So once again, I know the setup has been a big change, but our goal here is to actually make it easier to use going forward. Instead of just having a big long list of information, we actually have segregated the data into those logical sections. The other thing you're going to notice actually about this change is previously we used blue as our background header. So we've actually changed this to gray, and we've bordered it with a little bit darker of a border here at the top and bottom. So it just kind of provides a nicer, cleaner layout. The blue sometimes really kind of stood out, and it was kind of to be honest, kind of an odd color blue. So we've really standardized with the gray. The nice thing about that is it actually looks nice with our tabs at the top as well. So we have the gray right now in the tab. So it actually looks really nice. It's not too intrusive, but it still allows you to separate those sections as needed. One of the other changes that you are going to notice is a terminology change. So we've actually changed two terms in Field ID. So right now, in the current Field ID release, everything is called products and inspections. So products obviously refer to any type of equipment or area. So this is maybe a chain sling, a department, a room, whatever it may be. So what we've done is we actually changed the terminology products to assets. So you're going to see here product type has been renamed asset type. Similarly, product status is now asset status. So anywhere where it says product right now, we've changed it to say asset. The next change is the word inspection. So right now, all events or anything you can do in Field ID are actually called inspections. So you can see here at the top this says inspect. Everything is an inspection. They're inspection schedules. What we've done is we've actually changed this to events. So we can see now this is called start event. The reason we've done that is a lot of times what you're performing on your asset isn't necessarily an inspection. It might be some other type of action or event that you're performing. So by renaming inspection to event, we've just provided a more general term for Field ID. It's still underlying the same thing you're doing. It still may be an inspection you're doing. You're still going to name your event type group. It could be a visual inspection, for example, but it just allows you to expand your use of Field ID and not have everything called inspection when it's not actually an inspection you're doing. And you may have noticed earlier in the year we've started with some of these changes. So before, when you actually did an event, it used to be called inspector, and that was the person who performed the inspection. Well, but 4 months ago we actually changed that inspector to performed by. So we already started making some of those changes to make it a little bit more general about 4 months ago. So in this release we've finished those changes. So once again, everything that said product before is now going to say asset. Everything that said inspection before is now going to say event. So hopefully that clears up the confusion. We have a nice consistent terminology now in Field ID. So those are the user interface changes you're going to notice in this coming release. We hope that you like them. We do take these changes very seriously, because I know you know, a lot of people are used to working with Field ID in a certain way, and we're always conscious of when we make these changes, how is this going to affect our current customers. And you know, there is going to be you know, a little bit of growing pains, I'm sure, for some of you, you know, where some information, but hopefully this video has been able to identify where you're able to find things now and some of the bigger changes you're going to see. But you know, our end goal is to make it easier for, you know, definitely you, for your customers who are logging in, and as well as, you know, new customers who are getting up and running on Field ID. So that's our goal here. I hope you like the changes that that are coming out. And you know, the nice thing is too, is it gives us a good framework. So as we add more features in the future, it's going to you know, just make it easier to add on without, you know, just growing, you know, the data by a lot and making it kind of you know, really unmanageable. So that's our goal here. Hopefully you like it. Once again, this is coming out December 5th, 2010, and we really hope you like it, and we look forward to your feedback. All right, thank you very much for watching this video.